You know, every couple of months, some new video game company or board game company or movie harkens back to the work of H.P. Lovecraft. In fact, I actually just finally watched The Color of Space last night. I thought it was awesome. I mean, some people disagreed with me. I mean, I'm not saying it was like a 10 out of 10 movie, but I thought it was really cool. And I was nervous because, Nick Cage, he's so hit or miss, but I thought he was awesome in it. And then somebody let me know that SMITE, the video game, was having a Cthulhu add-on. And just like a few months ago, they thought it was totally fine to make gobs of money off the man, but made sure to call him out. Now, H.P. Lovecraft was born at a time when very bad opinions were commonly accepted. He was born in 1890. The fact that he had these bad opinions is not shocking. What's shocking to me is that people expect him to have adhered to modern day standards. People who are shocked and stunned that he had terrible opinions about black folks, being born, 130 years ago. All right. But that doesn't stop them from profiting from his work, just as long as they do the obligatory we disavow, but also find making money off of his work. It's probably my most favorite mental gymnastics that I see in the gaming community. If we go back just to January, a video game called Call of Cthulhu came out. Cthulhu tabletop game won't back down on calling out Lovecraft's bad opinions because, well, he was bad. When it comes to adapting works of H.P. Lovecraft, it can be hard for some creators to decide whether they should ignore his bad politics that are embedded into the work or address it head on. As a black fan of Lovecraft, I have long come to terms with the fact that he would dislike my very existence, but still find it endlessly frustrating when his, quote, fans insist on making excuses for his behavior. That's why I find it so refreshing that Evil Hat Productions made it clear with their Cthulhu tabletop game that they weren't here for any of those excuses. The team posted on a page of their book, Fate of Cthulhu, which outlined their stance against Lovecraft's politics, according to GameRant. They point out that his use of slurs to name his cat in a 1924 short story, The Rats in the Walls, based on his real-life pet, and that despite they are interested in using the world that Lovecraft created to deal with deeper human and societal struggles. Naturally, the usual suspects were not happy with it and were upset about, quote, politics being brought into the game. I'm assuming they're relating to people like me. Look, I'm fine with a game developer making the standard, making some sort of stance on somebody they don't like. What I think is hilarious is when they then go on to use that person's work, which are now public domain, so they don't have to pay for it, to generate large sums of money. It's not, you don't get to have it both ways. If you really thought he was such a bad man, why are you profiting from him? Why are you using his works? Now, this isn't to defend his opinions, but also I'm not putting out products with his name on it and then saying, oh, but also he was a bad man, but also give me money. This guy, Stephen Blackmore at the time, with the company, let me get this straight. The Fate of Cthulhu, we specifically pointed out the racism of H.P. Lovecraft because, well, he was. And we couldn't have, in good conscience, ignore that. Let me get this. Oh, sorry. I don't know about you, but I'm trying to name a terrible person. I kind of want to make sure people understand why. One of the things we agreed on with Lovecraft without his bad opinions, which I think was pretty worthy goal. I don't give an F who plays a game. I just want to make sure it doesn't alienate anybody. This appears to cause such a ruckus. Seems like a lot of people, probably white people, have a problem with us having done this. No. See, you don't get to have it both ways. You don't get to write unrelenting articles. It's too late to redeem H.P. Lovecraft, who is an unapologetic bad person. There are people that say he apologized in the end. I haven't found any evidence of that. Maybe that's true. Maybe he did change his opinions on it. In fact, I just tweeted out asking for some sort of, real, actually, documented evidence that he changed his opinion. I checked the Wikipedia page, which of course is Wikipedia. But yes, H.P. Lovecraft had a bad opinion of his fellow man, obviously. But to both think that it's shocking that a man born 100 and plus years ago would have, and also using that game, using him to make money, to me, it just doesn't add up. It just doesn't add up. You can't have it both ways. You can't say, hey, we're going to take this guy's product. He was so evil. Well, how evil did you really think he was? So evil. How much of the money from you making this are you donating to organizations that fight? If you had released this as like, and said 100% of net proceeds go to, fighting these bad things, actually, I'd buy that. I think that that'd be a good way to handle it. You still get publicity for your game, and you don't get to be accused of profiting off of it. So they were very excited just 4 days ago to call out that they're going to have Cthulhu in the game, but then they took particular time to say it. Let us be clear, we have no intent going farther than Cthulhu. We've heard people joke about Cthulhu being a slippery slope to Dumbledore's inclusion in SMITE. Dumbledore would have no place in SMITE. Even Robin Hood has been debated and soundly rejected by Titanforge game team. Also, Cthulhu will remain the only playable character from this pantheon for the foreseeable future. On one final note, we reject the ancient Mayan tradition of ritual human sacrifice. We reject the bad ideas espoused by H.P. Lovecraft. We believe that Cthulhu has grown beyond its creator over the past 100 years. We want to welcome Cthulhu to SMITE. Not Lovecraft. Racism and homophobia have no place in SMITE, period. We believe, because we're going to make a bunch of money, that you can separate the art from the artist. But we're still going to take a section of our blog post announcing this to shield ourselves from criticism. That's exactly why these people do this. They want, because the board game community is, at least in terms of the developers, the game makers are overwhelmingly, not just like a normal liberal, but far left in the gaming community. Because of this, they know that they have to disavow this. To me, the only way SMITE can truly make me believe that they care is to donate this money. I think that's a win-win, right? You get publicity for your game, your customers get a new skin or DLC pack, everybody's happy. But that's not what you want to do. Just like when we go look at all the articles that have been written, all the video game articles that have been written about this man, all disavowing him. Now, you can be a fan of works kind of based on him and not agree with his politics, obviously. I just think it's a different world when you're basing a product that you sell for profit on his opinions. I was watching that movie last night and thinking about that, wondering if that movie had ever gotten into, any hot water over it. You see, Lovecraft also influenced gaming despite having hated games during his lifetime. Chaosism, tabletop games, Call of Cthulhu, released in 1981, recently in its 7th major edition, was one of the first games to draw heavily from Lovecraft. Novel to the game was Lovecraft-inspired insanity mechanic, which allowed for player characters to go insane from contact with cosmic horrors. The mechanic would go on to make appearances in subsequent tabletop and video games. 1987 saw the first board game release, Arkham Horror, which sold extremely well, and since 2004 is still in print from Fantasy Flight Games. Though a few subsequent Lovecraftian board games were released between 1987 and 2014, the years after 2014 saw a surge in the numbers of Lovecraftian board games, possibly because the entry of Lovecraft's work into public domain. Possibly. No, definitely. They got to take the work for free. Few games are direct adaptation of Lovecraft's work, but many of the games have been inspired or heavily influenced. The massively multiplayer online game World of Warcraft, Blizzard Entertainment has continually revealed more of the origin story in the game's playable world to players, which most very closely mirrors Lovecraft's work on Derelith's expansion into the author's original content, Cosmic Horror. This Lovecraft is ingrained in everything gaming. Obviously, you don't need to believe him. You don't have to support his opinions from over 100 years ago. But don't come out here and stand on your high horse and then expect me to believe you care about anything but making money. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.